Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Open for Business. And you know what? I have a great guest. And you know what's kind of funny, or actually it's kind of sad, is I've known this man for almost 2 years now. And he's been on other shows. And, my brain said, oh, he's been in the studio. He's been in on a show, but he's not been on my show. So today we're bringing Bart Greenberger, and Perception is Reality business coaching. And I tell you what, this dude is off the hook. I'm just saying. I've known him for 2 years, almost 2 years. And what he has to say is a great thing. So I'm like, got to bring him on the show. Let him tell everybody about himself. And so, Bart, introduce yourself. Who is Bart?
Thank you for having me, John. I'm super excited. Yeah, I have been on other shows. I've been in your studios, and yet we've never done this together. So I'm super excited. Bart is the owner of Perception is Reality business coaching. I actually do three things. I'm a business coach. I own my own advertising agency. I work with small business owners who aren't as familiar with the marketing side of their business, and I help buy, whether it's TV and radio, which we call traditional, or whether it's digital media, whether it's outdoor billboards. I joke that if you want to do skywriting, I can help you buy that as well. Yeah. And then the third thing I do is I'm a motivational speaker, and I go around and I talk to small business owners all over the country, and I just help them tweak little processes within their business to make them more profitable, because I'm a big believer in repeatable systems and processes, so the small business owner doesn't have to be in their business 24/7, 365.
Nice. That's nice. Well, there is a fourth thing that you do, young man.
There is, but it's not business related.
But actually, I think it is, because it gives you the mentality to work with all the different types of business and different types of personalities. So I think it all blends in. So let's start with Perception is Reality. Let's do the business coaching first. Okay. So you've been other things in your life, and now you decide I'm going to be a business coach. How does the business coaching work?
I've spent almost 30 years in media sales. I started in radio for 4 years at a number one TV station that was the local affiliate for both a St. Louis Cardinals franchise and the St. Louis Blues hockey franchise.
Right.
After 4 years in radio, I graduated to TV, 8 years in St. Louis, selling my beloved Cardinals, selling television, moved into sales management. That didn't work out. Started my own business, lost everything. My wife and I lost everything but the house, 2 cars, and 2 kids. And John, I'm here to tell you, there are times we wish the creditors would have taken the kids, but they didn't. What ended up happening is I ended up leaving media. I refound my love of sales by doing industrial chemicals for a couple of years. Then the number one TV station in the market in central Illinois, just outside Champaign, Illinois, they were looking for a veteran salesperson. And I spent 10 years to the day selling at that TV station, and I loved it. My love of sales and sales training. Well, what ended up happening is, as I was working with my small business owners, because that's my niche, and I helped small business owners have a voice in their marketing that they didn't know they had. And as a result, these people became to trust me and trust me more and trust me more. And I realized one day that they were sharing things with me about their business, about their revenues, about their sales, about their profits that they don't normally share with just your typical media salesperson. We had become very good friends, but I had started to become a trusted resource for them. So then I started asking more and more questions and learning more and more about the business side of a business. So now when I look a small business owner in the face, I tell them, I will never tell you how to do XYZ, whatever your industry is. If you're an accountant, if you're a mechanic, if you're a painter, I'm not going to tell you how to paint. But I help small business owners with the business side of owning a business. John, here's what I found. And you know a lot of people, I bet you've seen this throughout your career as well. How many people have you met? And I'm talking now contractor specifically, a painter, somebody who does floors, somebody who does, I don't care what the contracting is. They learn their craft most of the time from somebody. And that somebody who taught them didn't teach them the money side of it. They didn't teach them
Right.
how to price their materials, what we call COGS. They didn't teach them about expenses and spending and profits. So all of these small business owners, and we've got a generation full, they are great at their craft and they're horrible at the money. They're horrible at the business side. For those small business owners that are either already making a profit or they're super close to making a profit, and they need to get their finances in order, or they want a trusted accountability partner, that's what Perception is Reality does for small business owners.
Oh, okay.
I've got a mechanic.
Right.
Yeah, go
so
ahead.
You're not a rah-rah coach. You are a let me make sure you're doing this correctly coach, which really is that's a big deal, right? I mean, because you're right. There's people, I often ask everybody, what's your hourly rate? And they don't know how to calculate it. They can tell you what a widget would cost, what the widget, where, the cost, how to make it, blah, blah, blah. But when it gets down to their actual cost for their labor, they're like, And I find a lot of them they're too, and I hate to say the word cheap, but they're too cheap. Right?
Yes.
They really don't give themselves enough oomph into their hourly wage for them, for their labor.
I agree with you. I'll give you an example. I work with a mechanic. He had been in business 3 years before he hired me. I've now been working with him for about a year. And I asked him one day, what is your break-even point per hour? And he looked at me and he was glassy-eyed and he didn't know how to figure it out. So we sat down and we crunched all the numbers, and we now know exactly on an hourly basis what his break-even point is. Wow. So if he's not generating at least that per hour for all his mechanics, he's losing money.
Right.
I sat down with him in January. Now, this is a man in 2025, didn't know his numbers. So we're at the end of January. I said, okay, so how did January finish? And he came to me and he said, Bart, I don't know my net profit and revenues yet because I haven't finished all of my expenses, but my gross blah, 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 blah. And I was just so proud of him, John, because he's starting to think more like a business owner and more like a business owner who might want to expand into multiple locations down the road.
Right. Yeah. And that's truly the big thing is, and once they see it, people are like, oh, I see what I've been missing, so yeah. But okay, so you got into the business coaching side, but let's talk about the well, I want to stay on the business because that's a big deal because everybody has the minute someone says, oh, I'm a coach or a business, I'm like, ugh. I think we've had this conversation before, right?
You've told me. I get it.
Yeah. So what sets you apart from the other business coaches? I mean, I can see it now, but let's tell everybody at home.
I can answer that a couple of different ways. And the first way I'm going to answer, all of your viewers are going to say, yeah, right. Okay. The word is empathy. Oh. I learned later on in life, I'm 55 years old. I learned a couple of years ago after I lost my mom that my desire to help others is just stronger than other people. I'm not saying I'm better or worse than anybody else. My desire to help. As a result of that, I put myself out there with my clients a little bit more. The phrase I use is that I sit shoulder to shoulder. And when somebody needs a cheerleader, I'll be that rah-rah cheerleader. When somebody needs a kick in the tush, I'll be that person. When somebody needs somebody just to cry with, I'll be that person as well. I sit with my clients and I invest all of me. Now, I'm not saying that other business coaches don't do that, but I just know that the people I work with, they always tell me that they don't have anybody in their corner.
Right.
I was on the phone this week with a client of mine, or excuse me, a former client of mine who has run into some financial issues because of an issue with her lease. This is in a state in Illinois, actually. And she's like, Bart, I can't afford you anymore. Why do you continue dealing with me, working with me? And I told her, because I want to be there as the support that you don't have right now. Not to say she doesn't get the support from her husband, and she does, and her employees, but sometimes we just need that unconditional support to say, you've got this. Well, don't worry, because I've been there before and it's going to come out.
Right. You also are the honest support. Sometimes
I don't pull punches.
Huh? Yeah.
I don't pull punches.
No. You need that. I mean, I've had family that work for me, and me and my wife own this company as well as the other ones, and we're always there and we're the rah-rah for each other, but it's not what we need to hear sometimes. I have outside influences for business coaching, or people that know my industry, and you actually kind of know our industry as well. But those guys, they don't pull punches. They let me know, just boom, you're doing this wrong. And if they see it, especially my one big buddy, my guy Topher, he pulls no punches, and I think that's why we get along so well, is he just flat out, this is what you're doing wrong, it is what it is. So now, you've been working with the business, you've been coaching them, they're getting along, they're starting to know their numbers, they're starting to go, okay, now I need to become better well known. So now we're going to talk into the media buying side, because now it's advertising. In the beginning, a lot of businesses I find do not budget for marketing, because they don't even really. Let me rephrase it. Some people going into business got a business plan. It's dead on. It works every single time. It's just they just knock out of the park from the get-go, and marketing becomes super easy. But you get the guys that are struggling. They're trying to figure out how to get their name out there. They go to networking groups. They're sending out cards. They're dropping off flyers. They're pounding social media to death. But sometimes you need to have that marketing person to go, okay, we need to fix this. And then media buying becomes crucial in their business. So let's talk about the media buying side.
And that's exactly right. Yes, I do some marketing, but I call myself more of a media buyer.
Right.
What ends up happening is most small businesses end up underfunded. And you kind of alluded to that just a second ago. When you start a business, if you are not planning on marketing, then you are planning to fail.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean that you have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. The average small business owner invests 4 to 8% of their gross revenues into some forms of marketing. Putting a fence sign at the local high school is not marketing. That is public relations. That is community oriented. That's not marketing.
Correct.
When you are looking, so one of the favorite phrases I use is, who is talking about your business when you're not there? And you and I work with somebody at one of our networking who uses that phrase as well. The truth is that if a business is relying on word of mouth, you don't know what they're really saying about you. You only know what they might tell you they said to their friends. With a media buying campaign, let's just talk radio, TV, and quite frankly, let's talk TV, because I am a big believer in video. In the 1970s, Evelyn Wood Reading Dynamics did a decade-long study. And John, the whole point of the study was to figure out how to teach teachers how to teach. In other words, how do students learn? And they came up with the top 5 ways that the brain notices things. Number 1 is motion. I could sit here and do this to your viewers, and it would be very annoying, but they're watching the hand. I'm going to stop that. Motion is the number 1 way. Size and shape is number 2. Right. Color is number 3. Sight is number 4. Sound is number 5. So I'm not knocking radio ads because there is a place for it, but a radio campaign only utilizes the brain's fifth best way to get the attention. A television campaign has motion, can convey size and shape, it has color, it has sound, has sight, and it conveys emotion. With a campaign, though, the first question I ask is, who is your demographic? John, you've been doing this a long time, and I know you know business owners who they're marketing themselves and they're fishing in the wrong pond.
Yeah, they don't
because
even
they
know
don't
who
know.
they're trying to get.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So one of the first questions is, who's your ideal customer? And I don't just mean age, sex, demographic, income, geography. I'm talking, what kind of vehicle does your ideal customer drive? What neighborhood do they live in? And everybody, of course, is going to say we want the high income people. But the truth is that's not always who your demographic is.
It's true.
So once you figure out who your demographic is, then you can have a better idea of the direction to go. Let me give you an example on that. If I am a business that is a senior living facility, television, I don't care what market in the country, television is going to be great. Because if you are going after 40 or 45-year-old and above, television is still great. But let's be real honest. If your core demographic is under the age of 40 or it's 20 to 50, television is only going to hit the top end of that. You need to do something
8%.
More like social media.
Right.
That's right. That's right. You need to go after the younger audience. We sit down, we discuss who your audience is and what your USP is. I didn't make it up. That stands for unique selling proposition. Is what makes your business different than the woman down the street? What makes your business different than the person next door to you? A lot of business owners, oh, well, what sets me apart is my service. And I just want to throw up when a business owner tells me that, because they don't understand that in today's age, customer service will no longer bring anybody in to their location. It won't, because in today's age, it is expected that you're going to offer you're going to offer top of the line customer service. And if you're cut rate, you're gone. People just won't invest with you. They won't shop with you. They won't do business with you. So I don't want to hear that customer service is what sets you apart, because that is now the expected. But unfortunately, too many small business owners, they haven't been taught that yet.
Well, they've have fallen into that trap, and it's a trap.
100%.
I used to say I grew up, everybody kept saying is customer's always right. No, customer's not always right. And you got to be willing to know that. But we're not talking about that. That's a whole different show.
Bring me back for that show. I'd love to be a panelist.
I want to get about 4 people and let's talk about why the customer is not always right. But anyway, and when they are right. So you get the media back. Now, I know you do the TV, the radio. Do you do any of the market of social media? Or do you have specialists for that? Okay.
I have specialists who handle that. My work wife back in Illinois and her husband are social media savants. They are so good. And this woman and I started our businesses within a month and a half of each other.
Right.
And very early on, I realized it's not a skill set that I'm good at or that I enjoy.
Right.
So I started just sending her my customers. And now it's just understood. If you want to do social media, I've got somebody who specializes in it. Mine is going to be more TV and digital marketing. And when I say digital, people hear that, a lot of small business owners, and they cringe. Well, what does that mean? I buy ads online. So for example, yes, we can do it through Facebook. Yes, we can do it through Google or Amazon. But typically what happens is if somebody is on YouTube and they're watching a video, and just before that video plays, a 15-second local commercial airs, I have the ability to insert your message into that 15-second commercial. And the benefit of digital advertising, John, I know you know this, but a lot of your small business owners don't, is not only can you target by demographics, I want to reach a woman between the age of 45 and 70 who has household income of blank.
Right.
Not only can you do it demographically, but online marketing, you can also do it geographically.
Oh, yeah.
So if I am one of my largest advertiser is a frozen pizza company in Illinois, and they don't want to be everywhere in the state. So just in the area outside of St. Louis, we are targeting the areas around 4 Walmarts on the east side of the St. Louis market,
Nice.
which is in Illinois. My client had no idea that we had the ability to do that. And now he's starting to see positive feedback because people are going into the Walmarts, they're buying his frozen pizza, and they're leaving messages on the website.
See, and that's great. So you walked into the right. Next question is, I know you live in the Chattanooga area, but where do you get your clients, or what's the area you want to stay in?
When it comes to the media buying, I probably have 10 or 12 different states that I am or have bought just in the last 18 months. Doesn't matter where I am, or it doesn't matter where the business owner is, I can help them. If it's in a market that I've never done before, I'll give you an example. One of my closest friends owns a tow company, and he is part of a larger network. He met a husband and wife in Rhode Island, told her about me. She's a chiropractic physical therapist in the Rhode Island area. She calls me. I'm now reaching out to all of these TV stations and radio stations in Rhode Island, in Massachusetts, in Vermont, and I'm learning all kinds about the areas where she is. So on the media buying side, I'm all over. On the business coaching side, I'm only in about 7 states. I spent 15 years in Central Illinois, so I have a bunch of clients in Central Illinois. I've got Missouri, I've got Indiana. I can go on and on. I'm in the Southeast now, as you and I are in Chattanooga right now.
Right.
So if you're a business owner and you're looking for accountability, or you're maybe thinking of, I need a little help with my business, doesn't matter where your business is located, because we have Zoom, we have phone calls, and I work with people all over the place.
That's awesome. I mean, what a great way to be able to. I love the fact that you don't pigeonhole yourself just to Chattanooga or the surrounding tri-state area. You literally can do this anywhere in the world. Actually, in the world.
It is.
The
and
internet.
John, this is going to come across as selling, and I don't mean to your audience, but I also don't sign.
They like people like you.
I don't sign contracts.
Oh, wow.
And that shocks a lot of my small business owners. I grew up in the media industry, which everybody else signed contracts, and I worked on a handshake. And the reason I don't sign contracts is this: if I'm not working hard for your customer, they're going to fire me. So that means every month I need to bring my A game. And because I don't sign contracts, and because I install repeatable systems and processes, it's usually a finite amount of time. Most of my clients spend about 12 months with me. Some are a little less. My longest client was 4 years, and then I was able to help him sell his business, and he is now Chief Grandpa Officer. And I love the title that he gave himself, because all he wants to do is spend time with his grandchildren.
Nice.
So your customers, your viewers don't have to worry about, oh, well, I can't afford him for 12 months. I don't sign contracts in the media buying side or on the coaching side.
Right. That's good. So we've only got a couple minutes left. I know you're working on your website, so we'll get that website up eventually. We'll throw all that wonderful stuff in there. Isn't it fun going through a website redesign? Oh my God. It's just.
Yeah, the company I was with was a major difficulty. So I have what's called a one-pager right now. It is a mini website, a website light, and it's fantastic. I have my success stories from clients on there. It's a lot of fun. And then the other thing I'm doing is I'm writing a book, and I know we're running out of time. The book is at the editor right now. It should come out late spring, maybe early summer. Right. It's called "I'm a Descendant of the Middle Finger." What are your success fingerprints?
That is great.
So, and the quick story is my grandmother's maiden name was Finger. She was the third of five finger children.
The middle finger. Yeah.
She was the middle finger. And in 1928, in first grade, she proceeded to list off all of her siblings and left the middle finger up. And she got in trouble with the teacher. She got in trouble with the principal. She got in trouble with her father. And I heard that story in the early 20s, like 2002, 2003. Yeah. And I told my sister and my cousins, I own the rights to, I am a descendant of the middle finger.
That is phenomenal. So real quickly, I'm going to let everybody know, you are also a umpire for youth sports, correct? And that's what I was alluding to, is you deal with all those different personalities and personas and just the way the kids react and, and all that kind of wonderful stuff. So that's why I think it makes your mindset's really good for working with other businesses. Now, during the show, we have been rotating your phone number, your email, and the name. And so if you're looking for a great coach, great. And I'm not say good, great. Real quick, what's the opposite of great?
The opposite or the enemy?
Both.
Good enough.
Good enough, right. So I hate the word good. Anyway, you're looking for a great coach. Bart Simeon, everybody that knows me and watches our shows knows that I have this really hate for the word coach. I would even put Bart as a coach. I would put him more of as an advisor. And I like that word because we all need advice. We all need to know how to get through our business day to day. With that being said, I want to thank Bart for coming on. I appreciate it, buddy. And everybody watching, we're back. Open for Business is going to be on a weekly now, like we're supposed to be. And we're going to have great guests. And we'll see you guys next week on Open for Business.